Hi everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Coach Keon here from Action Coach Guyana. And also we're the license holder of the Who's Who in Guyana Business Directory. We are continuing our interview series with innovative and dynamic organizations here in Guyana as we have conversations with business owners, CEOs, team representatives from these various companies and organizations. This morning, I have the privilege of speaking to a very, very brilliant young lady, someone who I have known for quite some time in a teacher student capacity, also working at the center. Without further ado, please welcome Miss Natasha Gaskin Peters from the Center for Local Business Development, or as we call it now, the Center. Pleasant good morning to you, Miss Gaskin. How are you doing today?
Pleasant good morning to you, Keon. I'm fine. It's a rainy day, but it's a very good day in Guyana.
Excellent. We just have, fortunately, just two weathers to deal with, which is the rain and the sun. So we know
Exactly.
how we should consider ourselves really, really lucky in that regard. So, first of all, Miss Natasha Gaskin Peters, can you just give us, in a nutshell, just a little bit of information on who you are?
Okay, sure. So I'm Natasha Gaskin Peters. I'm a PhD economist, and I'm the Deputy Director at the Center for Local Business Development, where, as you are aware, the center really works with local Guyanese businesses within the oil and gas industry to help them to become more competitive. So we have been in operation since 2017, July of 2017, and really working with the local Guyanese businesses in that realm.
Okay, excellent. So, in terms of the concept of the center, can you just help us understand a bit more when you said that you work along with local Guyanese company? What are some of the services that local companies can access from the center?
Sure. So our mandate is really to build the capacity and competitiveness of the local Guyanese companies so that they can win opportunities within the oil and gas sector. And so we do this through training, mentorship, as well as the provision of up to date information on the oil and gas industry. As it relates to training, we have seminars in offshore oil and gas, which introduces the industry to our local Guyanese businesses. What technologies are utilized in the industry, what opportunities exist within the industry for them, and how they can take advantage of these opportunities. We also have seminars in procurement, so they can learn about things such as, expression of interest, for example. So how do I express interest when a tender comes out on the center's supplier registration portal? How do I really respond to these opportunity, filling out the forms and so forth. And then we also have our HSSC, or Health, Safety, Security, and Environmental Seminar. And this really goes into those aspects of the industry because, as you are aware, Keon, the industry is very much focused on health and safety. People's lives matter. And so we've been forcing this culture into the Guyanese business community, and thus far it has worked quite well. In addition, we also offer business courses because, of course, your systems such as your financial management system, your human resource system, how do you build capacity, your supply chain management system. So these are the courses that are offered at the center. As it relates to our mentorship, we would have started with the ISO 9001 mentorship program, where we help the companies to become internationally compliant to this standard, because Guyanese have been saying, we need these international qualification. And given the importance within the oil and gas industry, at the center, we've offered this to about 21 companies thus far, and that program continues. And we've also saw the need to really have an HSSC mentorship program, because while we had the seminar that introduced the culture, persons wanted to know, how can I put together a policy? How do I ensure that my environment is safe? And so this is where we walk them through a step-by-step process from courses all the way to follow-up meetings, assisting them with documentation, and then finally doing a site visit to ensure that they are fully compliant. These services, of course, are free of charge to the local Guyanese businesses, so we do urge them to take advantage of it because the center at the moment does not charge for any of the services offered.
Thank you. Thank That was well put, Mr. Tashi Gaskin Peters. And what I love is that the courses that persons can access there are free. Well, the only cost attached to it is the time that you need to invest to make sure that you are there to attend these courses. And of course, we are encouraging persons to take advantage of these seminars and courses as much as they can. I personally would have benefited from attending courses at the center, and I must say that it's really, really enlightening, allows you to get a really good insight into the workings of the oil and gas industry, an industry which is extremely new to Guyana and to our people.
Yes, that is true, Keon. It's an industry that is new, but it's also an industry that is here for the longer term. And so this is why, ExxonMobil and its partners decided to open the center so that we can really partner with the Guyanese entities and build them along so that, they can take advantage of these opportunities over the longer term.
Indeed, and I am looking forward to more courses from the center. Uh, Now, Miss, we are currently, and guys, forgive me if I'm calling her Miss. She was my teacher, so I think in it's in the blood. Uh, we are currently experiencing a pandemic, COVID-19, and I would really love to get your thoughts on these various aspects. First of all, how has COVID 19 affected the operations for the center? And what, if any, are some strategies you have implemented to deal with this?
Well, as everyone is aware, this global pandemic is now here in Guyana. It's been here for a few months. And so in March, what the center would have done, we started to limit, because the center is really a face to face organization. Persons walk into the center, they want to be registered onto our portal, they would like to be part of the mentorship program, or they need to take a training course. But because of the pandemic, we had to begin by limiting that physical interaction. And so we started to encourage persons to really send us an email if it is that you need to make contact with us, or contact us via our telephone number. So that is at the bottom of the screen. But when the measures were put in place by the government, we had to move towards working from home. So at the moment, all of the center staff are working from home. However, the center is still open for business. So, for example, we've taken our courses to online. We have the procurement course that's presently being offered online. We have the health and safety mentorship program that is continuing. So we're continuing to work with businesses. We're continuing to teach those courses. In addition, the offshore oil and gas course, if you check on our website, centerguyana.com, you will see that there is the CBT version. Now, this week we have launched the webinar as it relates to offshore oil and gas because we've recognized that some persons may prefer the webinar as compared to the CBT version. And we've had over 50 plus persons already registered with us.
Wow.
So even though the physical premises is not open, we are open via webinar. We advertise on the Center for Local Business Development, our Facebook page. We send messages on our supplier registration portal about these courses. So persons can still make contact with us to, if they're seeking advice, they need to take advantage of the courses. All of the programs continue. We continue to mentor the businesses within the ISO 9001 program.
Yeah.
It's difficult at times and a bit challenging to physically visit them. And so our focus has been on the documentation aspect of that program so that when we're able to reopen, we can do the site visit. So even though the center's physical premises is closed, as I said, work continues. So we
Work
do urge
continues.
local Guyanese companies to continue to make contact with us to take advantage of the courses that we are offering.
Excellent, excellent. And I heard you mention the suppliers portal, several times now. And persons out there, especially those tuned in to our social media platforms, they might be hearing about this for the first time. They might know about the center, but may not know about some of the intricate workings of the center. So when you speak about the suppliers portal, can you just enlighten some of our viewers, especially with regards to how can they be a part of the portal and what are some of the criteria?
Okay, so on our portal, what we do, we register local companies as well as international companies. You can access our portal by going to our website, centerguyana.com, and clicking on Supplier Registration Portal. In order to register on that portal, you need to be legally registered. So for Guyanese entity, for example, you must be registered with the Deeds Registry, and then you can register onto that portal from the registration process. So once you register, then you'll be able to take advantage of the opportunities, the offerings at the center. You'll be able to see the various expression of interest that comes out from ExxonMobil as well as their prime contractors. So the portal is it's very important. It's the first step in the access to the center. And what we have done, Kiana, I mean, local
Yes,
businesses, I'm sure are very much excited about this. We've launched an app for the SRP. So even though they may be home working from home, they may not some may not have access to a computer, they can log on to their phone. So they can download the center's app, they can log on to, that app and still be able to see those opportunities because for 2020 we've sent out 58 tenders already.
wow.
And so this is why the center has to continue business because, of course, we need to ensure that these local Guyanese entities are taking advantage of this. We've also upgraded our website. So, information is there. There is examples on, for example, HSSC manual. So there are samples there. There is information on our Join the Conversation series. We've also recently partnered with GCCI and PDC to, have a survey as well as the ISO, the ILO, and that survey is pertaining to the pandemic. So we want to get a better understanding of how businesses are being impacted by this pandemic so that we can further tailor our offerings to the Guyanese community, ensuring that we support them during this period.
Fantastic. That sounds really good. And while you're on that topic of the impact of COVID-19, my next question, ironically, is what do you think, in your opinion, or from the perspective of CLBD, what do you think would be the impact on the oil and gas industry with regards to COVID-19, if any?
Well, we would have seen, of course, our airports are closed. And so that in itself has an impact in terms of workforce coming in and out of the country. It also has an impact. We've seen the global pandemic, negatively impact oil prices. And so, most of you are aware that, oil, it's a primary commodity. So similar to other commodities that Guyana would have exported, such as gold and bauxite. And so we're really within a market where the prices are determined globally. So that any shock to that market, of course, will have an impact. So any negative shock to that market impacts us. However, despite that, production still continues. The company is really trying to find innovative ways and means to get things going, but we cannot really, you know, remove ourselves from the decline in oil prices. But it's very important to note that production continues and Guyana's economy will continue to benefit from this industry because, as you are aware, we have a very high quality oil. And so, the benefits are there. As I indicated before, we as a center have sent out 58 tenders in that regard. So local companies need to continue to take advantage of those resources offered to the center in terms of supporting them during this process.
Excellent, excellent. And you did mention the oil prices, and of course, we there has been a decline in the oil prices, which has actually reduced the projection of our growth. Do you have any thoughts on this, or any information that persons can uh, hear about?
Yes, the IMF would have predicted growth at about 80% for Guyana's economy. That has now been reduced to just over 50%. Because, of course, as you are aware, as prices decline, then it means that there would be a decline in terms of, so your price times your quantity, your overall revenue, of course, will reduce. And so as a result of that, that has a negative impact. But Guyana has always managed to withstand these shocks. And so despite that, we're still expected to grow at about 50% this year. So that is really positive. I mean, if you look at the IMF's forecast for all countries, Guyana is one of the few and one of the fastest growing economies globally. So it's very much positive on our part, even though lower than expected.
Okay, excellent. That is very, very comforting, knowing that we're still going to be enjoying some of our newfound wealth. And I'm also very optimistic that prices will go up as economies begin to open and operate again amidst COVID 19.
Yes.
Okay, so
Exactly, and that is the prediction of the EIA. So come 2021, we expect that prices will move back upwards as economies begin to restart business and reopen again.
okay, excellent, excellent. So, Mr. Tasha Gaskin Peters, what advice would you then give to individuals, your fellow Guyanese, and even other businesses out there as they're currently navigating this pandemic?
Well, I am aware that the pandemic has really taken a toll on businesses, the private sector, but I do encourage businesses to continue to utilize technology. Technology is there. They can host webinars with their staff. There are other ways and means of getting that information out there. As a center, we have been utilizing these platforms. So take advantage of the technology. I know some of you are faced in difficult times as it relates to financing. And so the commercial banking sector has various offerings. As a center, we've been sending out some of these offerings from the commercial bank. So do approach your bank to see what relief they can offer to you during this process. Do approach us as a center for any advice. Do continue to take advantage of the services that we're offering during this particular period. I know we've had a lot of CEOs take advantage of the courses now during this period, so that is especially positive. And just continue to stay safe. You know, don't give up. It will soon be over, and we will rally through this quite in the end.
Excellent. That was well put. Very, very good advice, especially with regards to businesses and individuals taking advantage of technology. And definitely one of the positives that has come due to COVID 19 that we, one, some of us have more time. And secondly, we have been pushed to embrace technology more than usual. And I think this is going to help in creating the new normal moving forward as we continue to master how we use technology.
That is very true.
So thank you very much, Mrs. Natasha Gaskin Peter. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. So for persons who may have just tuned in, just as a parting, could you just remind us of the upcoming courses that you have and how can persons take advantage of them?
So presently we have the procurement module being offered. So you can call the number at the bottom of the screen, 223-7781, to take advantage of that. We also have the offshore oil and gas, as well as our health, safety, security, and environmental courses being offered. So do call that number to get registered to take advantage of those webinars that we are offering. I must say a special thank you to you, Keon, and the Action Coach team for having me. It was certainly a pleasure. And the center really continues to serve the Guyanese community. So we're there. We're just a phone call away. We're just an email away. So please continue to seek us out as you go through this pandemic, which has had a negative impact on businesses, especially.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure as well. To all the persons who are tuned in on our social media platforms, we also thank you for your support. So, Miss, it's been a pleasure. And to everybody, please stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe.